your workspace and also working with gradients. There seems to be a few questions that have come up about both these things. I'm just combining those into this one demo. Okay, let's go ahead and move into Illustrator. I've just drawn a couple shapes just to get us started here, but let me go into the workspace first. You guys probably have seen in all my demos that I have certain windows that I keep open all the time. I always keep my Pathfinder Transform and Align window open, and I always keep my Navigator and Info window open. I just find this an easy way to work. I also like to keep my shape tools and my pen tools open all the time. Over on this side, sometimes I will keep swatches open, but sometimes not. Another challenge that I think people are having is that they can't always access things over here that they think should be there. So one of the things that you can do is go up into Window, go down to Workspace, and there's all different standards that you can choose. Essentials is kind of the basic Illustrator kind of layout for the workspace, so you can always pick that. Okay, and that will give you all the basics. Okay, you see it popped up a few more things here, but it did take away some of the things that I usually have open. You can also open things up and arrange things as you like them onto the screen. And go into Window, Workspace, and Save Workspace. And you can save one based on your preferences, which is what I've done here. So there's certain things that I just like to have open all the time, and this is just how I work. I also recommend that everybody uses the grid as much as possible. Most of the exercises which you guys have turned in for the paintbrushes look pretty symmetrical and they look pretty clean, but a few people haven't had that really good, clean, symmetrical look to their paintbrush handles, and using the grid can really help you with that an awful lot. So please take advantage of these tools when you have them. A few people will also use guides or smart guides. You'll see smart guides pop up on your screen as they're probably a cyan color, which is a blue-green, and they'll pop up at different angles which are set. You can set your smart guide settings under Preferences, and I have mine set in light red. It works a little bit better for the demos, especially when I was working in a classroom. They just turned up a lot better. But they're normally the cyan color, which is this one down here. And you can set your angles that they pop up as to whatever it is that you like. And you can also set your snapping here, which it automatically places your cursor or your mouse point at a particular place based on 4 points out from that. That's what I have set here. But snapping can be useful if you're trying to align objects and things like that. I tend to align a lot by eye as opposed to using the align window, but some people aren't as comfortable doing that, so it's really a personal preference. But snapping can also help with aligning. Alright, now gradients. Now you probably already know where your basic swatches are, and another good thing to know about is to go down into swatch libraries. And a few people mentioned this on the blog, that they use some of the swatch libraries. One of the swatch libraries is gradients, and you might really enjoy working with some of these. I don't use the swatch gradients that often. I tend to create my own, but this is one place that you can start. I'm just going to choose one of those. Actually, before I choose that, I just want to show you guys another little trick. Something which I think probably frustrated a few people. I didn't hear anyone mention it in their blog, but it's frustrating when you can't necessarily open your swatches and your gradients at the same time. But you can do that by simply grabbing this tab and bringing that down. And then you can have both the swatches and the gradient open at the same time. Now on the standard swatches panel, or if you open up one of the libraries, okay, if you open up one of the libraries, you already have swatches built here, but there are a couple of swatches in here as well. Okay, I just pulled that into there a few minutes ago. You can always start with this one, which I don't find a particularly attractive gradient, but it is one that you can start with, and then you can always add and subtract your colors. Okay, let's go ahead and start with this one just so I can show you how to do that. This already has 7 colors on the gradient, which is quite a few. Not going to be too many instances where you're going to want 7 colors in a gradient, but if you do, you can. Okay. I'm going to choose that as a radial gradient as opposed to a linear. Okay, Looks a little harsh for my taste, but perhaps there's a use for it. But let's say that I did want to soften this and I wanted to make it look a little bit different. I can take some of these colors out by simply grabbing onto this little piece here and just pulling it off, and it just disappears altogether. Okay, so I can pull those off to my heart's delight. And then of course you probably know that you can slide this around to change the look of your gradient. And this also changes the look of your gradient. Okay, and if you choose to add colors back into your gradient, you can grab them from this swatch panel or from any of the other swatch libraries which you open under Window. But you can grab those colors and just drop them onto your gradient, and it will automatically add that color in there for you. Okay, and if you don't want a strict radial or linear gradient, you can also add an angle. Okay, so you can kind of see how that works. So that's another little handy tool. Oh, and if you don't see all of this, and this is true about any of the windows over on this side, if you don't see the entire window open, double click on this double-sided arrow right here, and it will change what it is that you can see. It generally opens up with the full window, but for instance on the character window, when you open that, often it will only open up as this abbreviated window. But if you click twice, then you get the full window with all the options. And that's true on pretty much any tab that has a double window. You'll have different options that open up with that. Not this one, but most of the others you do. Okay, just another little helpful hint. So gradients can be an awful lot of fun. I saw a few people, they enjoyed playing with the distort tools on the text and stuff, and those are a lot of fun too. And paintbrushes are a blast. I love playing with paintbrushes. And whoever commented that they could spend hours doing it, so can I. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, hopefully that helps. You understand the workspace a little bit better and the gradients a little bit better. Okay, I hope you enjoy this class and enjoy working with these tools. I know I find them pretty challenging still. There's still days when I get frustrated that I can't do something, but overall I really enjoy working with it. So I hope that you guys do too. Anyway, I'll sign off. Have a good night.